A man stood on a stage in front of hundreds of employees and told them to punch through walls, not metaphorically, literally. He told them that money was the answer to every problem, that fear was for the weak, and that the rules were for people who weren't smart enough to break them. Within a few years, his company would steal hundreds of millions of dollars from ordinary people, and almost none of them would ever see their money again.
This is the true story behind the man Hollywood turned into a legend, Jordan Belfort, the so-called Wolf of Wall Street. But the real story is darker, stranger, and far more revealing than the movie ever showed. It's not just about greed. It's about how an entire system let one man turn a boiler room into a machine that swallowed lives. Belfort didn't start on Wall Street. He started broke, selling meat and seafood door to door out of the back of a truck. When that business collapsed, he stumbled into stockbroking almost by accident. And that's when he discovered something that would change everything: penny stocks. Cheap, obscure shares in tiny companies, easy to manipulate, easy to inflate, and almost invisible to regulators. In 1989, he founded Stratton Oakmont. On paper, it looked like an ordinary brokerage. In reality, it was something closer to a script. Belfort trained his brokers to follow word-for-word sales pitches designed purely to trigger emotion, not to inform. He called it the straight line technique. Every call was engineered to end one way, with the client saying yes. The firm bought huge blocks of shares in companies before pushing them to the public, then artificially pumped up demand through aggressive, high-pressure sales. As untrained investors rushed in, the stock price soared. Then, quietly, Stratton Oakmont insiders sold their shares at the peak. It's a scheme now infamous by name: pump and dump. When the selling wave hit, prices collapsed, and everyday investors were left holding shares worth a fraction of what they paid. At its height, Stratton Oakmont employed over 1,000 brokers. The office became legendary for its excess: drugs, parties, extravagant stunts, all fueled by the belief that the money would never stop. But the money was never really theirs. It belonged to teachers, retirees, and working families who trusted a voice on the phone. And regulators were watching. The SEC and FBI spent years building a case, and in 1998, Belfort was indicted for securities fraud and money laundering. Here's the twist most people don't realize. He cooperated. He wore a wire, recording conversations with former colleagues to help prosecutors build cases against them, including his closest business partner. In exchange, his own sentence was reduced. He served just 22 months in a low-security facility, sharing a cell block with another infamous white-collar criminal. He was also ordered to pay roughly $110 million in restitution to victims. Decades later, only a small fraction of that amount has actually been repaid. The real legacy of Stratton Oakmont isn't the parties or the Hollywood adaptation. It's the warning. Belfort's playbook, the false urgency, the manufactured excitement, the pressure to act now before it's too late, didn't disappear. It evolved. Today, similar psychological tactics show up in cryptocurrency pump groups, high-pressure sales funnels, and online investment schemes that promise guaranteed returns. The tools have changed. Phones replaced boiler rooms. Social media replaced cold calls. But the underlying trick is exactly the same. Make people feel like they'll miss out if they don't act immediately. Jordan Belfort became famous for teaching people how to sell anything to anyone. But the most valuable lesson from his story isn't about salesmanship. It's about recognizing the moment someone is trying to make you feel too excited to think.